அவனை இதனால் இவன் முடிக்கும் என்றாய்ந்து அதனை அவன் கண் விட.
Okay, good afternoon students. We will discuss about the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics part 2 we will discuss today. Thermodynamics. Part 2. In the last class we saw the details of isothermal process, adiabatic process, isochoric process and isobaric process. Those processes we will see what are the details and all. We will see in detail for a while and we will proceed for the next sessions. Isothermal process. In isothermal process, is in which the temperature is constant. Okay, and change in the temperature is 0, and the work done is the entire heat energy that is supplied to the system is the work done. Okay, and the process equation is PV equal to constant, which is nothing but the Boyle's law. The indicator diagram for the isothermal process is the PV graph will be like this. Between pressure and volume, the graph is a rectangular hyperbola. Okay, if the temperature is increased at a high temperature is kept constant, then the graph comes like this. And from that graph you can understand the two graphs are obtained at temperatures T1 and T2, provided T2 is greater than T1. Okay, and isothermal work done, what are the work done, or what all the conclusions we are writing here. The change in the internal energy also will be 0, and according to first law of thermodynamics, W equal to delta Q, and the work done, isothermal work done is nRT ln V2 by V1. This can also be given as 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. Of course, you may write V2 by V1 as P1 by P2. So these are the details we need to learn regarding the isothermal process. Okay. Now let us see the details of isobaric process. In the case of the isobaric process, and one more point regarding the isothermal process is the specific heat. The specific heat is equal to infinity in isothermal process. Okay, and let us go for one more process, that is the isobaric process. What is the isobaric process? Isobaric process is concerned, the pressure will be constant here. Pressure is constant. Okay, and work done is equal to nRT. Okay, this is the work done, and also can be written as P into delta V, because pressure is constant here. nR delta T, nR T is the work done, and the indicator diagram is concerned. If you draw the pressure versus volume graph, pressure will be constant. It comes like this. The process equations are P by T or V by T is equal to constant. Okay, that means if you take the graph between volume versus temperature, if the temperature in Kelvin scale, the graph will be a straight line passing through the origin, and change in the pressure will be 0, and internal energy, change in the internal energy is calculated as change in the internal energy is nR delta T, or F by 2 nR delta T. nr delta T, or this can also be written as NCV delta T. Okay, and CV is FR by 2. Already we saw in the last class. And what is the specific heat? If you write the first law of thermodynamics in the isobaric process, delta Q is equal to delta U plus W, external work done, and this can be written in detail as N Cp delta T is equal to N Cv delta T plus Nr delta T. Nr delta T. Okay, and if you make possible simplifications, N delta T will be cancelled, and then it becomes Cp is equal to Cv plus R, where Cp is the, that is molar specific heat of the gas at constant pressure, will be the specific heat for isobaric process. Okay, so these are the details we need to remember regarding the isobaric process. And now isochoric process, we will go for one more process, that is, this is also a significant process, isochoric process. In the case of isochoric process, in isochoric process, volume is constant. Volume is constant. Being volume is constant, the work done is given by P into dV. dV will be 0, so work done will be 0. Integral P dV will become 0. And the process equation is, if you take, and the process equation is P by T will be constant. If you take the graph between pressure versus temperature, if the temperature is in Kelvin, then the curve passes through the origin and it is a straight line. Okay, and the first law of thermodynamics you can write as delta Q is equal to delta U plus W. Being W is 0, delta U and NC delta T is equal to NCV delta T. If you make it simplify, for N and cancel and delta T cancel, the specific heat of the process is given by C equal to CV. Okay, so 100% of the heat energy that is supplied is used only to raise the internal energy of the gas. Okay, so these are the details of isothermal process, isobaric process and isochoric process. And so far as the adiabatic process is concerned, let me take the graph between pressure versus temperature. This is the pressure coordinate, let us suppose, and this is the volume coordinate, let us say, and the isothermal curves let us draw here. What are the isothermal curves? This is a rectangular hyperbola. It used to be obtained like this. This is a rectangular hyperbola at one temperature, and it is another rectangular hyperbola at another temperature. Okay, and one curve is obtained at a temperature T1 and another curve is obtained at a temperature T2. Okay, so these are two isotherms. The isotherm at temperature T2 and this is isotherm at temperature T1. And between two isothermal processes, an adiabatic process will be conducted. Okay, so the adiabatic curve I am going to draw here like this. Okay, the steepness changes. Okay, so it changes. This is isothermal curve. The curves are, this is isothermal curve, isothermal curve, and this is another isothermal curve. This is another isothermal curve, and this will be the adiabatic curve. You can observe here clearly the steepness of the adiabatic curve is greater. Adiabatic curve. Okay, the steepness is more here between two different temperatures. It is there. Isothermal process will be conducted at constant temperature, but adiabatic process is passing through different isothermal curves. Okay, and not only these curves, and in between two isotherms, you can draw any number of the isotherms. Between these two isotherms, you can find any number of isotherms at different constant temperatures, right? But adiabatic curve is passing through different isothermal curves, right? It is passing through different temperatures. Okay, between two different temperatures, it is being conducted, and adiabatic equation is concerned. Let me discuss the details of the adiabatic process for a while. Adiabatic process is concerned, the process equation is PV power gamma equal to constant. This is the first point that is to be noticed, and the gamma is Cp by Cv. Cp by Cv is gamma, and the next point is isothermal and adiabatic work done is concerned. Adiabatic work done is concerned. Adiabatic work done is nothing but change in the internal energy, because it is conducted in isolated systems. In the isolated systems, the net heat exchange between the system and surrounding will be zero. That implies delta U, change in the internal energy, and external work done will be zero. That implies delta U is equal to minus W. Okay. So that means whatever the change in the internal energy is there, if the internal energy is increased, temperature increases, internal energy increases, and work done, that means volume decreases. If this is positive, this will be negative, or the W is given by minus delta U. Okay. This is the way you can write. And adiabatic steepness, the curve can be obtained like this, and internal energy, change in the internal energy is nothing but the work done, and that itself can be given as nr n Cv delta T. Okay, and Cv can also be written. How do you write Cv? Cv is equal to Fr by 2. Cv is Fr by 2. Okay. F is the degree of freedom. Okay, degree of freedom is different according to the atomicity. Okay, so this will be F value will be 3 for monoatomic gases, and it will be 5 for diatomic gases, and this will be 6 for polyatomic gases at ordinary temperatures. And at exceptional degrees are there at very high temperatures, 2 degrees will be additionally added for the degrees of freedom. Okay, that point we know that. Okay, so Cv also be written in another form as well. What are the another forms of writing the Cv? Okay, and already we know the gamma value. What is the gamma? The value of gamma can be written as Cp divided by Cv, and that is the Cp is again written as Cv plus R divided by Cv. So gamma is equal to 1 plus R by Cv, and gamma minus 1 is R by Cv. Okay, and then you can write Cv as R by gamma minus 1. Cv as R by gamma minus 1. Gamma is the ratio of the specific heats, that is Cp by Cv. Okay. So if you substitute the Cv value in the work done, then the work done or change in the internal energy can again be obtained in another form. So that's what let us see here. The work done in adiabatic process, can be obtained as n Cv delta T. Let me write n as R by gamma minus 1 into delta T. And for convenient form, it can be written as nr delta T divided by gamma minus 1. So what is nr delta T? For suppose the process is done between the temperatures T1 and T2, this becomes nr. The final temperature is T2, let us say, minus T1. divided by gamma minus 1. So this can be conveniently written as nRT2 minus nRT1 divided by gamma minus 1. And according to ideal gas equation, we know PV equal to nRT, referring to, since PV equal to nRT, PV equal to nRT, you can also write nRT2 as P2V2 minus P1V1 divided by gamma minus 1. And according to adiabatic process, we know this is nothing but work done is minus delta U, right? The minus indicates internal energy is decreasing with positive work done and vice versa. Okay, this is the way you can say the adiabatic equation. And one more conclusion also can be made regarding the adiabatic process, that is, take the adiabatic equation PV power gamma equal to constant, V power gamma equal to constant, and by differentiating this equation you will get dP into V power gamma plus P into gamma into V to the power of gamma minus 1 into dV is equal to 0. And take V power gamma common of this equation, this becomes dP plus P into gamma into V to the power of minus 1 into dV will be 0. And you can shift this gamma cancel, and the remaining terms you adjust and write as dP is equal to minus P into gamma V power minus 1, I am writing divided by V into dV, right? So this implies dP divided by minus dV by V is equal to minus gamma times the pressure. What does it say? The dP is nothing but called bulk stress. What is the dP? dP is nothing but bulk stress, and dV by V is the bulk strain. This is the strain. And stress by strain is nothing but the bulk modulus. So adiabatic bulk modulus is gamma times the pressure. So you can write adiabatic bulk modulus, adiabatic bulk modulus equal to gamma times the instantaneous pressure. Okay. What is isothermal bulk modulus? In isothermal bulk modulus is concerned, isothermal bulk modulus also we will discuss. Isothermal bulk modulus. We will take the isothermal equation. What is the isothermal equation? Is nothing but P V equal to constant, because the temperature is constant. That's why nRT all the way we are taking all the nRT term is a constant, right? Differentiate this equation. What do you get? dP into V plus P into dV equal to 0. Now you can write dP into V is equal to minus of P into dV. What you can write? The dP is the bulk stress divided by minus dV by V is bulk strain is equal to P. So what does it mean? It is nothing but dP is the stress and dV by V is the strain. So stress by strain is nothing but the bulk modulus. So this is called isothermal bulk modulus. Isothermal bulk modulus. modulus. Okay, isothermal bulk modulus is the pressure itself is the isothermal bulk modulus, and gamma times the pressure in the previous slide you got. Gamma times the pressure is the adiabatic bulk modulus. So adiabatic bulk modulus, of course, minus is not there. Gamma times the pressure. So what is the P? P is isothermal bulk modulus, and gamma times the isothermal bulk modulus is adiabatic bulk modulus. So you can establish a relation between isothermal and adiabatic bulk modulus here. Okay, relation between isothermal and adiabatic bulk modulus and adiabatic bulk modulus. Let us see here. Isothermal bulk modulus is, what is the isothermal? In the previous slide we got it that isothermal bulk modulus is P and adiabatic bulk modulus is gamma P. So you can write bulk modulus in adiabatic process equal to gamma times bulk modulus in isothermal process. Okay. So the relation is used to be taken like this. Okay, referring to these ideas, let us go for a polytropic process. So far we have seen all these processes are concerned. In the isothermal process, temperature will be constant. In an isobaric process, pressure will be constant. In an isochoric process, volume will be constant. And in the case of adiabatic process, delta Q will be 0. Okay. Referring to all these, in addition to these, if nothing is kept constant, all the parameters are getting changed, then that process is called polytropic process. What is the polytropic process? Let us see now. Okay, polytropic process. Polytropic process. Okay. So the process equation is P into V to the power of X equal to constant. So X is called polytropic constant. What is the X? X is the polytropic constant. Polytropic constant. Okay. So depending upon the value of the X, the process will be estimated what kind of the process it is. For that, let me take a graphical view here, and according to the graph, from the graph, let us see. This is a pressure versus volume graph we are taking. If X equal to 0, pressure will be constant. In this, it is like this. For this process, X equal to 0. What is this process? Isobaric process. So X equal to polytropic constant, X value will be 0 for isobaric process. Isobaric process. Okay. And X equal to infinity. X equal to infinity. X equal to infinity means volume will be constant. This is called isochoric process. This is the isochoric process. Isochoric process. And you know, X equal to 1 for isothermal process. This is somehow like this. PV equal to constant. PV equal to constant means what was the value of X? X was taken for 1. So x equal to 1 for isothermal process. This is nothing but isothermal process. Thermal process, right? And you see the different curves. Adiabatic process you take for x value greater than 1, any curve for which x value greater than 1, that will be obtained somehow like this. This is what somewhat of the curve p v power gamma equal to constant. In this curve p v power gamma, where gamma value is greater than 1, yes or no, and that is nothing but equal to Cp by Cv. Cp is always greater than Cv, that's why gamma value will be greater than 1, and this is indicating adiabatic process. Adiabatic process. Okay, so for all other processes are concerned, other than these curves, if any other significant curve you take, and some curves are like this, for all these curves above isothermal curve, the x value will be less than 1. For all x value less than 1, the curve will fall under isobaric process and isothermal process. You see, you can observe them very clearly here. In all this region, you will find the x value less than 1, they will fall under isobaric and isothermal process. Okay, and this is the region between adiabatic and isothermal region you consider. This is the region where you are seeing the isothermal and adiabatic processes. Okay, so for this region you can clearly identify the x value lies between, x value will be greater than, greater than 1 and less than gamma. Okay, less than gamma. Gamma means Cp by Cv, already you know. Okay, so the x value lies between gamma and 1. These processes will fall under this region. These are all whatever the curves in which for the x value, that is p v power x value, will fall under this region, will be will come between isothermal and adiabatic processes. And between adiabatic process, if x value is greater than 1, then that those graphs will come under this region. Okay, so this region, if you consider any polytropic process for which the x value is greater than gamma, greater than Cp by Cv, they will fall under this region. Okay, so this is how all the polytropic processes can be understood. Okay, and now let us go for the specific heat of polytropic process. How do you calculate the specific heat of polytropic process? And we have seen the specific heat for isobaric process, the specific heat of isothermal process, specific heat of isochoric process. For all these processes we have seen, and those all that specific heats in the significant processes I will specify here in the graph itself. In an isobaric process, specific heat C equal to Cp, and for isothermal process C equal to infinity, and for adiabatic process the C is equal to 0, and for isochoric process the C is equal to Cv. Okay, so for isobaric it will be Cp, for isochoric process it will be Cv, and for isothermal curve it will be infinity, and for adiabatic process specific heat is 0, because heat supplied will be 0 for this process. Only internal energy and work done will be interconverted. Okay, work done itself is the internal energy, no heat that is taken from the surrounding in the case of adiabatic process, right? Now let us go for polytropic process. What a polytropic process, and polytropic process, specific heat in the polytropic process. Let us see now. Okay, specific heat, specific heat in polytropic process. Polytropic process. Specific heat in polytropic process. Let us see. This is given and a longer derivation is there. Just I am giving you the result of this equation, that is n c delta t is the delta q. I am going through first law of thermodynamics. Okay, nc delta t is delta q here. ncv delta t will be the internal energy raise delta u, and n work done is integral p into dv. Integral p dv is the work done, right? So in these processes, if from first law of thermodynamics, you can relate them as from first law of thermodynamics, you know, dq can be written as du plus p into dv, and you know the dq can be written as nc dt is equal to du is written as ncv dt plus pv p into dv. Okay, now I want c, so make c subject of this relation. By shifting n dt to right hand side, this will become ncv dt divided by n dt plus p into dv divided by n dt. Okay, of course in both numerator and denominator you can cancel n and dt, right? So the c now can be written as a polytropic process specific heat c is equal to cv plus p into dv divided by n dt. Okay, n dt. The value of n dt let us obtain from the ideal gas equation. Let us take the support of ideal gas equation for the time being. Let me say this is the equation number 1. And now let me go for ideal gas equation. From ideal gas equation, PV equal to nRT. Let us differentiate this. It will become P into dV plus V into dP is equal to nR dt. N is a constant, R is a constant, and the differential change in the temperature is dt. Okay, and from this you can obtain the value of ndt there. Okay, so what is ndt? This implies ndt equal to P into dV plus V into dP divided by R, right? So for now, let us substitute this value in equation number 1. Let me say this is number 2 for time being, and from equation numbers 1 and 2, from equations 1 and 2, we can get C is equal to CV plus P into dV divided by, what is the ndt value we got? P dV plus V dP divided by R. Let this R be shifted to the numerator. This R be shifted to the numerator, and this P dV be shifted to the denominator. What it becomes? So let us see now. Okay, so now the C becomes, this implies C becomes now as C equal to CV plus R by P into dV by P into dV, 1 plus this becomes V dP, V into dP divided by V into dP divided by P into dV, P into dV. What is the V into dP divided by P into dV? Previously, we have taken the we have taken the polytropic process. What was the polytropic process? P V power x equal to constant, right? Now you, after differentiating this equation, we are getting dP into V power x plus P into x into V to the power of x minus 1 into dV equal to 0. This implies dP into V to the power of x. Of course, we can take dV common, V power x common, and make further simplification. V to the power of x be written common here. dP plus P into x into divided by V into dV equal to 0. Of course, we can make V power x cancel there, and then it becomes dP is equal to minus Px dV divided by V. So now this becomes dP into V divided by V P into dV is equal to minus x, right? So this sort of the expression we can substitute in the previous session here. Okay, so V into dP by P into dV will be how much? V into dP divided by P into dV will be minus x. You just substitute minus x. So this becomes R by 1 minus x. So this term will be entirely be written now as, now C can be written now as C is equal to CV plus R by 1 minus x. Okay. C equal to CV plus R by 1 minus x. Okay. And CV also written as R by gamma minus 1. Already we have seen that. So R by gamma minus 1, right? So if you write the CV value and work done value completely here, the now we can get the final expression for the C as the C specific heat of polytropic process is R by gamma minus 1 plus R by 1 minus x. This is the specific heat of polytropic process. And you know what is the value of the x for different significant processes? The value of the x equal to 0 for isobaric process, and x equal to infinity for isochoric process. For isochoric process, x equal to infinity, x equal to 1 for isothermal process, and x equal to gamma for adiabatic process, right? So these are various special cases of polytropic processes. So if you substitute the x value there, if you substitute x equal to 0 for isobaric process, I will take isobaric process, in constant pressure process. For isobaric process, C is equal to R by gamma minus 1 plus R by 1 minus 0. I am keeping x value 0 here. Okay. And now this becomes 1 minus x. X value will be 0, right? So plus R it will become. So what is the C now? C now is a CV plus R. It is nothing but a gamma. It is CP. Yes or no? So the specific heat process for x is 0 or isobaric process or constant pressure process will be CP itself. Okay. And the same thing we can realize in the case of the isochoric process also. X value will be infinity there. So for isochoric process, x equal to infinity we will take for isochoric process. What is the C now? That is a CV plus R by 1 minus infinity. 1 by infinity means 0 this is, okay. So this entire value becomes 0. So this implies C equal to CV for isochoric process. This is isochoric process, okay. And x equal to 1 is for isothermal process, and if you take isothermal process, the specific heat of the isothermal process can be calculated as R by gamma minus 1 plus R by 1 minus 1. What is 1 minus 1? 0. The denominator you are getting 0 means this entire term will become infinity. So C is equal to something plus infinity is infinity for isothermal process, right? The polytropic equation is PV power x equal to constant. By taking the differentials and simplifying, we can get an expression like this, and v to the power of x can be made cancel on by shifting this to right side. Being right side, there is 0, it value will be vanished out, and now the remaining things can be written now as, it implies p x divided by v into dv equal to minus dp. What is the dp? dp is nothing but bulk stress. Remember, always it is the third time we are discussing. The dp is the change in the pressure is nothing but the stress, okay. So the dp is the bulk stress here. dp is the bulk stress, okay. And dv by v minus dv by v is nothing but called bulk strain. This is bulk strain, okay. So let us try to evolve the expression for bulk stress by bulk strain. This implies you will get x times that of the pressure is equal to dp divided by minus dv by v. And you know, this is dp is the stress and dv by v is the strain. What is stress by strain? Stress by strain is nothing but bulk modulus, okay. So x times the pressure is nothing but polytropic bulk modulus. So that's why you can name this term x times that of the pressure is nothing but called polytropic bulk modulus, okay. So previously we have seen isothermal bulk modulus, and afterwards we have seen the adiabatic bulk modulus. Now we are coming across the polytropic bulk modulus, okay. So the ratio of isothermal bulk modulus, adiabatic bulk modulus and polytropic bulk modulus are in the ratio. The bulk modulus, let me represent with the letter B, and the bulk moduli ratio can be given as isothermal bulk modulus Bi is to adiabatic bulk modulus Ba is to polytropic bulk modulus B polytropic can be given as 1 is to gamma is to x, okay. So this is the ratio of bulk moduli, okay. So it is a very important aspect of the lesson, bulk modulus, right? And after this we should have to go for the cyclic processes and reversible cyclic processes and irreversible cyclic processes, okay. And already we know what is the process. A process means the system of the gas which is undergoing the changes, continuous change in the pressure, volume and temperature, internal energy and all. The parameters are getting changed one by one. That is called a process. A process is indicated by indicator diagrams. Okay, well, these processes are briefly in two ways. They are cyclic process, cyclic process. Cyclic processes are of two types. One is reversible cyclic process, reversible cyclic process, and irreversible cyclic process. Irreversible cyclic process. Okay, what is the reversible cyclic process? What is the irreversible cyclic process? To understand that, let me take the indicator diagram of pressure versus volume. Let me take the pressure along the y-axis and volume along the x-axis. If any process from stage A, it is the state A, let us suppose, from state A, it is gradually going to some point, and some point B, let us suppose, and from the point B, pressure versus volume I am taking actually, and the x-axis, this is the volume, and A to B is one process, and B to A, again, after reaching B, it has come back to the point A. Okay, from B, it has come back to the point A, right? Now you see in this process, it has its starting state is A and final state also will be A, but the path in which it is going is different. A to B is different, B to A is different. If you take a curve, the area enveloped by AB curve with volume axis is giving you the work done, right? Overall, it can be taken as a cyclic process. In the cyclic process, you can observe one thing here, that is A to B, and you just envelop A to B curve with the volume axis. In this curve, the area bound is called work done. Okay, area bound by AB, all this blue shaded part will give you the work done in the AB process, right? So in the A to B process, whatever the volume that is covered there with the volume axis, whatever the area that is covered with the volume axis is the work done. Okay, that is work done in A to B process. So if volume is increasing, it is subjected to increase in the volume. This is said to be positive work. This is said to be positive work, right? And you see the graph, the curve that is coming from B to A, right? It is like this, and this area in the process B to A, you clearly observe this is indicating the work done in the reverse process. This work done is work done from B to A. You see what happens to the volume in the process B to A? Volume is decreasing. In the process, volume is decreasing. This is said to be negative work. So that's why B to A is negative work. So you can clearly understand the total work in the process A to B and then to C is equal to work done from A to B plus work done from B to A again. But the work done from A to B is positive and this area will be greater, and work done from B to A will be negative, this area will be lesser. So positive value, positive work done in A to B is greater than work done in B to A, the area we have seen. So that's why positive work is greater than negative work. So being positive work is greater, then net work done will be net work is greater than 0. So net work done will be positive. So you can say the net work done will be positive here. Okay. So this is how you can say you can say the net work done. Okay, that will be positive. So for any clockwise cycle, it may be like this, and similar to this, any PV graph you take, this is the pressure axis and this is the volume axis. Any clockwise cycle will represent the net work done. It will be positive. Why? Because positive work is greater than negative work, and volume increasing side, from here to here volume is increasing, here to here volume is increasing, and from here to here, from positive extreme volume point to minimum volume point, volume is decreasing here. In this process, negative work. So always positive work is greater than negative work, and the area enveloped by the curve will always give you the work done. The area of this graph will give you the work done. So the area of PV graph, area of PV graph will give you the work done, right? If it is clockwise cycle, net work done will be positive. That means positive work is greater than negative work. Work done during the expansion of the volume is greater than work done during the decrease of the volume here. Okay. So in this is the cyclic process, the point where the process has been started. After undergoing different stages, it has come back to the initial point A itself. This is called cyclic process. In this cyclic process, if the path in the volume expansion side and path in volume contraction side is not same, that is called irreversible process. So whatever the examples we have discussed so far, all will come under irreversible cyclic process. In the irreversible cyclic process, work done is not zero. Internal energy, change in the internal energy will be zero only, but internal energy is a state function, but work done is a path function. That's why I'm writing that point here. Internal energy is a state function. Internal energy is a state function, and work done will be the path function. Okay, this is the state function and this is the path function. Okay, so these 2 points we have to remember carefully. These are very, very important points, right? Now let us go for reversible process. What is the reversible process? Let us see. Okay, reversible cyclic process. Reversible cyclic process. Reversible means it's very simple. Take the PV indicator diagram. In this PV indicator diagram, let us consider a path in which the system is going P to V. The points between the points A to B, whatever the points it is going through in expanding the volume side, retracing the same positions and come back to the initial position, retracing the exactly same points, while the return also it is following the same points here and come back to the point A. This is called reversible cyclic process. In the case of reversible cyclic process, you know, the between two volumes V1 and V2, the positive work and negative work will be exactly same. So as much positive work from A to B will be positive, and work done from B to A will be negative. and the net work done from A to B and then to A is work done from A to B plus work done from B to A, and exactly these two are same. That's why the net work done will be 0 in the case of reversible cyclic process. Okay, so net internal energy raise will be 0 and net work done also will be 0 here in the case of reversible cyclic process. Okay, so the area of one single straight line, if you take any PV graph here, then you take one line area, the net area of this curve, net area equal to 0. Net area equal to 0. The net area is nothing but the work done here. If it is anti-clockwise cycle, for example, if it is anti-clockwise cycle is there, means P is the anti-clockwise cycle. That means what happens? Positive work is less and negative work is more. From here to here, minimum volume to maximum volume, this is the positive work, and maximum volume to minimum volume, this is the negative work. Here in this case, this is the positive work and this negative work. Okay, here negative work is greater, negative work is greater than positive work. Okay, so the area bound by this graph will be the area of the circle or area of the ellipse, whatever it is. Being negative area is more, the net work done will be negative. Okay, that is one important example for the irreversible cyclic process. In any reversible cyclic process, net work done will be always 0 because the stages through which the process is going on in volume expansion side, passing through same line, it has come back. Okay, so negative work and positive work will be equally presented there. Okay. And next, one more important point regarding the thermodynamics is work done against vacuum, or this is called free expansion. What is free expansion? Let us understand free expansion process. You take a graph between pressure versus volume. You see, for example, I will take a cylinder which is containing some gas. In the cylinder, there is some gas molecules are here. Okay, and let us suppose there is a projected valve-like arrangement is here, and here is an arrangement of piston, and there is a piston here, and the gas is there in the horizontal valve as well, and it is a small orifice is there, and the pressure is P, let us suppose, and inside the piston there is a gas of pressure P, and outside the piston there was simply a vacuum. This is a vacuum point. Vacuum point. Vacuum point means I am drawing the piston position here, something like this. This is the piston. It is there in the shape of a disc, right? And left side there is air, right? Here is there is some gas is there with a certain pressure, and let us suppose the pressure here is P. Okay, and what else is there on the other side? The pressure was 0. Yes or no? So now from left side there will be a possibility to cause some force. The force is given by F is equal to pressure into area of cross section. Whatever the area of the disc is there, that is the area of cross section A. F equal to P into A is the force that is exerted from left to right. But so far as the right side is concerned, there was no pressure. That's why in this direction the force was completely 0. Okay, when there is no gas that present, no air that present on any side, that is treated as vacuum. Against the vacuum, only force that is acting on it, then even though volume is increased, then the work done is taken to be zero only. There is no work at all, and temperature also will not change. It is not adiabatic process also. Internal energy change will also be zero. So the total process equation is concerned against the free expansion. Of course, pressure and volume inside, they may vary according to isotherm or something like that, but temperature is remain constant only. Temperature remain constant, but work done will be zero. It is not isothermal process. Even though temperature is constant, it is not isothermal process. This is what the point you have to notice very carefully regarding the free expansion or work done against vacuum. This can also be said as work done against vacuum. It's called work done against vacuum. Okay. So these are the main points we have to remember, and we should stick towards the first law of thermodynamics and its applications, right? Now let us go for second law of thermodynamics. Okay, second law of thermodynamics. Let us see what is the second law. It is very, very important, and definitely maximum possibility is there to get one question from this in any type of the entrance exam. Second law of thermodynamics. What is the second law? There are different statements are there. Kelvin statement, Clausius statement, like that. In the text you can see what is the second law of thermodynamics and their statements, what they are telling. The main thing is no machine can exchange the heat from cold place to hot place without any external agent. That means it has to perform some work. Okay, so for example, any heat engine, let me represent the symbol of the heat engine like this. This is some heat engine, let us suppose. Somewhat of the heat that is supplied to the heat engine. This is the heat that is supplied to the heat engine, and the heat that is supplied is Q1. Let us say Q1 is the heat supplied. Q1 is the heat supplied. Okay. From Q1, some amount of the heat will be rejected and the work will be performed. Okay, after performing the work, some amount of the heat is rejected. This is the work that is performed, let us say, and the remaining heat is rejected out. The rejected heat, let us suppose, let us say this is the rejected heat. Rejected heat, and the reject, what is the rejected heat now? Q1, let us say it is Q2, that is Q2 is equal to Q1 minus W. So from this you can say the work done is equal to Q1 minus Q2 is the work done. Okay, so what is the efficiency of this heat engine is supposed to be calculated. Okay, so efficiency of the heat engine is equal to work done divided by heat supplied. Heat supplied. Okay, the work can be written as Q1 minus Q2 by heat supplied is Q1, and it can be written as 1 minus Q2 divided by Q1. This is the way you can calculate the efficiency of the heat engine. What is it called? This is efficiency of heat engine. Okay, so this efficiency can also be obtained. In order to calculate this efficiency practically, a scientist called Carnot has constructed a model cycle that is called Carnot cycle. Okay, according to the Carnot cycle, he has conducted a cyclic process following the pressure versus volume, and there are two isothermal processes and two adiabatic processes. Isothermal process was conducted from like this. This is one isothermal process at temperature something like T1, and let me suppose this is the process that is conducted between the states A and B, and at the position B he has conducted a adiabatic process here, and from B to somewhat of the point something like C, and from C temperature, because it is adiabatic process, the temperature getting changed, and the final temperature at C was taken to be T2, and at T2 temperature again isothermal process was conducted, and this is the isothermal process that was conducted, that is C2. This is the point something like D, let us suppose, and from D to A again there is a adiabatic process. D to A there is adiabatic process. Okay, so A to B is isothermal expansion. A to B is isothermal expansion. Isothermal expansion, and B to C is adiabatic expansion. Adiabatic expansion, and C to D is isothermal compression. Isothermal compression, and that D to A is adiabatic compression. Adiabatic compression. This is the way Carnot has conducted a cyclic process in a gas. Okay, A to B is conducted at a temperature T1, and C to D is conducted at a temperature T2. Okay, so in the process A to B, being A to B is isothermal process, let me discuss in detail what exactly the A to B process is. Isothermal process, A to B process, I will explain. A to B, in the process A to B, in the isothermal process, you know, being it is isothermal process, the temperature T1 was taken to be constant, and being the temperature is constant, change in the temperature is zero there, and being change in the temperature is zero, change in the internal energy also will be zero. Being internal energy is zero, the according to the first law of thermodynamics, you can say delta Q is equal to delta U plus delta W, and delta U was zero, therefore 100% of the heat that is supplied in the A to B process, let me say that is a Q1, and that is equal to the work done. What is the isothermal work done? Already we have calculated, that is N, or temperature is T1 into ln natural logarithm of volume at B divided by volume at A. A is the initial point and B is the final point in the process A to B. In this way, you can write the expression for Q1. This is heat supplied. Q1 is heat supplied to the system. Heat supplied to the system, right? And B to C process, you see, in the process B to C, it is adiabatic process. Okay, being it a adiabatic process, B to C is an adiabatic process. In any adiabatic process, what is the condition? You know that adiabatic process, in adiabatic process, being it is a adiabatic process, delta Q in the BC process is 0. Being delta Q is 0, you can write it as U BC process equal to minus W in the BC process, right? So that's why that work done can also be calculated. That the internal energy change can be written as nRT by gamma minus 1 nr delta T. nr into delta T is T2 minus T1 divided by gamma minus 1. Okay, and it is an adiabatic process. Net heat energy supplied or rejected will be delta Q will be 0 in this process. Okay, so neither heat energy supplied or nor heat energy taken out of the process. Now let us go for the process C to D. Okay, what is the C to D process? It is again the isothermal process. Okay, so again it is the isothermal process. Being it is isothermal process, temperature was kept constant at T2 constant. T2 was constant, and again here delta T is 0, and being delta T is 0, delta U also will be 0. Change in the internal energy will be 0 here. And according to again first law of thermodynamics, delta Q is nothing but heat rejected here. Why? Because the volume is decreasing, so the heat energy will be rejected because negative work done it is. Okay, so delta Q is written as nRT2 ln VD by VC. Okay, and again the process D to A is concerned. What is the process D to A? D to A, again it is adiabatic process. Again the delta Q in the D to A process is 0. Being delta Q is 0, W is nothing but delta U there, and you can write the way how to express the adiabatic process. Okay, so this is these are the 4 processes that is conducted in the Carnot cycle. And now you can get, according to the formula of efficiency, whatever the definition, by definition, you know the efficiency of the heat engine is given by 1 minus Q2 by Q1. So what is the expression for Q2 now? You just write rejected heat in the isothermal process, that is in the B2C process, that is equal to 1 minus nR T2 ln VD by VC divided by nR T1 ln VB by VA. VB by VA. Okay, and seeing these two both in numerator and denominator, making possible cancellations, nr will get cancelled, and VD by VC, according to adiabatic equations, we can write these as VD by VC. VD by VC is equal to VB by VA. VB by VA. That's why these two terms also can be made cancel. Now you can write the expression for the efficiency as is equal to T2 divided by T1. One more important noticeable point here, that is T2 is called sink temperature. T2 is called sink temperature. Sink temperature, and T1 is called source temperature. T1 is the source temperature. Okay, so sink temperature divided by source temperature. The rejected heat is done at a temperature, that temperature is called sink temperature, and the heat energy that is supplied from surrounding to the system, that is called source temperature, that is higher temperature T1. Okay, so using this you can say the you can write the expression for efficiency of a Carnot cycle. Okay, so now you understood what is the Carnot cycle and how to calculate its efficiency and all. And now let us go for coefficient of performance in the heat engine. Okay. Here's what I found on the web. Let us understand coefficient of performance, that is coefficient of let us write it as beta. The coefficient is equal to the heat side by work done. Okay. That is heat rejected divided by work done. The heat rejected is nothing but the work done can be written as Q2 divided by Q1 minus Q2. You shift Q2 to the denominator, you will get beta is equal to 1 by Q1 by Q2 minus 1. Q1 by Q2 minus 1. Okay. So coefficient of performance, to just note down some points. Coefficient of performance is the most basic energy efficiency metric of any heat engine. I'm writing it here. Coefficient of performance is coefficient of performance is the most basic energy efficiency, most basic energy efficiency metric, most basic energy efficiency metric, efficiency metric, okay, of any heat engine. Okay, it's very useful when comparing heat pumps, refrigerators, air conditioners, etc. Okay, and you may, if efficiency is given, you may also find the I'm sorry, this is hot. Actually, this is not Q2, it is Q1, supplied heat only. This one is heat, supplied heat, and that's why this expression, small modification here, the beta can be modified and written now as Q1. Let the Q1 be shifted to the denominator. What it becomes? 1 divided by Q1 by Q1 is 1 minus Q2 by Q1. Q2 by Q1. Okay. So right, and in terms of the temperature also it can be written as T hot, that is source temperature divided by T hot minus T cold. T hot minus T cold. Okay, T hot is nothing but T1. Okay, T hot is the cozy hot temperature we want to have use during the cold winters. Okay, T cold is the cold temperature at which the heat pump starts to operate. Okay, the theoretical maximum coefficient of performance also can be calculated using this formula, right? So these are the main points we have to cover, and the noticeable points and the points to be remembered regarding the thermodynamics. Once again, I would like to discuss all the points, whatever we discussed so far regarding the thermodynamics. Basically, first law of thermodynamics, the definitions of the molar specific heats at constant volume and pressure, all the things we discussed in the last class in thermodynamics 1. Now we are coming across isothermal process, isobaric process, isochoric process, adiabatic process. In the isothermal process, you know, the temperature is constant, work done is the heat energy supplied. That's why internal energy change will be 0, and isothermal work done can be written as nRT ln V2 by V1, and that in the decimal log it can be written as 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. And isobaric process is a constant pressure process. The pressure is taken to be constant and work done is nR delta T, and also be written as P into delta V. And if you take the indicator diagram here, the pressure coordinate will be constant there. And first law of thermodynamics is concerned, delta Q can be written as Cp delta T, and delta U is Cv delta T, and W is the nR delta T. After making possible cancellations, you will get Cp equal to Cv plus R. Cp is the specific heat of the isobaric process, and in isothermal process, the specific heat is taken to be infinity. Why? Because temperature is always constant, and any amount of the heat energy that you supply from surrounding to the system, its temperature will never be raised at all. Okay. And isochoric process, volume is kept constant, and being volume is constant, change in the volume is 0 there, and W equal to P into dV, that was also 0. So P by T is taken to be constant there, and the heat energy supplied is delta Q equal to delta U, and NC dt is NCV dt. So specific heat is CV in the case of iso in the case of isochoric process. Okay, now let us go for adiabatic process, and adiabatic process is conducted between two isothermal curves, and different isothermal curves are at different constant temperatures, but adiabatic process steepness is more there, and the details of the adiabatic process are concerned. Gamma equal to Cp by Cv, delta Q between the heat energy exchange between the system and surrounding is 0, and delta U plus W will be 0 there, and delta U is nothing but a negative of the work done. If work done is positive, delta U will be negative. If work done is negative, delta U will be positive, and its process equation is PV power gamma will be constant, and delta U equal to negative W equal to NCV delta T. CV can be written as FR by 2, and the F value will be different for different processes, and gamma value is also given as in terms of the gamma value, CV has given as R by gamma minus 1. This formula also very important in the application of so many, in execution of so many problems there. And now let us go for isothermal bulk modulus, and on differentiating you will get the pressure is taken as the isothermal bulk modulus, and adiabatic polytropic process, and the general PV diagram in terms of PV equation is PV power X is constant, X is polytropic constant, and between the pressure and volume, the different graphs at different X values were taken like this, and X equal to 0 is taken as isobaric process, X equal to 1 is taken as isothermal process, and X equal to greater than 1, and the curves, the graphs will come under this region, and the X value less than 1 will fall under isobaric process and isothermal process, and X value lies between 1 and gamma, they will fall, all the processes will fall under this region, and the X value greater than gamma will fall under this case. X value is taken to be infinity for isochoric process. Okay, and the next thing is specific heat in polytropic process was calculated as C equal to R by gamma minus 1 plus R by 1 minus X, and polytropic bulk modulus was calculated as X times that of the pressure. And cyclic process are two types, reversible and irreversible processes. The path is different for volume expansion, volume contraction side, that is irreversible process, and the same path will be retraced in reversible process. The net work done is not 0. Clockwise cycles will give positive work done, and negative clockwise cycles will give you the negative work done. Okay, In the case of the reversible cyclic process, the net work done, positive work and negative work will be always same. That's why total work done will be 0 there. And in the free expansion is concerned, against the vacuum expansion takes place, the temperature will not change even though it is not said to be the isothermal curve, because work done will be 0 here. Okay, that is also called work done against the vacuum. And so far as the second law of thermodynamics is concerned, the efficiency is work done divided by supplied heat. And Carnot cycle is explaining to isothermal processes and to adiabatic processes, net heat energy that is supplied to the system is Q1 and heat rejected is Q2. According to the definition of eta, it can be written in terms of the temperatures, R1 minus T2 by T1. T1 is the sink temperature and T2 is the sink temperature, T1 is the source temperature, and coefficient of performance is written using that, can be written as T hot divided by T hot minus T cold. Okay, so these are the points very important, and keep remind all these points. Do continuous revisions and stay connected, make best use of all these sessions. With this, stay every day, keep working and must make best use of the session. Thank you one and all.